Fear is a very, very real emotion. There's not a person alive that does not experience fear. On some level, don't you believe that for a minute? I face it all the time. Fear is so big and so prevalent today. Nothing produces more failure than does fear. It is the fear of failure that freezes people. Before they even start, it is the fear of failure that causes you not to want to deal with the rejection and the potential hurt that failure causes. So fear cripples you on so many levels. But how is it that some people somehow manage to get by? Anyway, what is it that you can do that would help you overcome whatever fear you face? Well, here's what I was taught, and this has helped me in my life, my career, my family, my jobs, my ambition, everything. You overcome fear with your dreams. I want y'all to listen to me closely now. You overcome fear with your dreams. Steve, how my dreams gonna make me overcome my fear? 'Cause I want you to listen to me. Because the dream is everything. The Bible says, "A man without a dream or vision shall perish." The dream is everything, see. If you have no dreams and visions, you'll perish. You will die in fear. You will die sitting somewhere in fear, without dreams and visions. Dreams are the counterpoint to all fear. I want you to dream so big. I want you to watch something so incredible. I want you to dream of having something that's so spectacular that if it doesn't happen, you will be miserable. Man, if I don't make this dream come true, I'm gonna be miserable. I want you to dream so big that not reaching your dreams is unacceptable. You cannot live in this world without the dream and the vision. You can live in this world without your mother, your father, your brother. You can live in this world without a wife or her. But what you cannot live in this world without is dreams and visions. You will perish without those. You have to dream of something and want something. That's what keeps pushing you forward. So if you want to overcome your fear, you do it with your dreams. And here's the side though. God is in the make your dream come true business. Any you do it all the time. I'm telling you, man, God does it all the time. He makes people's dreams come true. What are you dreaming about? Explore what you're really dreaming about, so you can lose your fear. You're afraid to open your business. Cause of your business fail, you lose the money you save, and you won't open your business because you might lose your job when your boss find out. Dream bigger. Dream of what opening that business could do for you. The feeling of freedom that you would have. The extra money you could live what you can do for your family. The things you could leave a legacy of. Maybe your dream ain't big enough. Maybe you got to dream of owning a large cup. Maybe a mom and pop store. Maybe you dream of climbing the corporate ladder. Maybe you dreaming of becoming the supervisor or the CEO or the cover. You got to dream so big. that if this dream don't happen, you'll be missed. Once you can do that, you can press through your feet. You can move forward, you can get on with it. I'm telling y'all, I was taught this. Dream so big that you can't imagine your life without living your dream. Let me teach you something. How many of you have a dog? How many of you have ever had a dog that had a flea on them? That's everybody you ever seen a flea. One of the smallest insects. Really small. One of the smallest insects, but for his height and size. And flea has the highest vertical leap in nature. For an insect, a flea can jump has a 36-inch vertical. A flea man can come 36 inches off the ground. His vertical is 36. Damaged person can't do that. But a flea can jump 36 inches off the ground. If you capture the flea and you put them in a mayonnaise jar and you put the lid on it, the flea know one thing: I got a 36-inch vertical. So here he started jumping. But he hit himself on that lead, cause he got that lead on it. But after a while, after getting knocked down so many times, the flea makes an adjustment. And so now the flea only jumps just to where he don't get knocked back down. He got 36 vertical, but since this lead is on, his environment got him now jumping. Nowhere near what he came. Capture some more fleas and put them in there. They got 36 verticals, but then they start jumping. They find out they keep getting knocked down. They start doing what the other fleas is doing. Next thing you know, I got a job full of fleas. And I ain't even using a 36-inch vertical, cause they got a lid on the job. Then fleas have babies them. Babies is born into the conditions of the environment. So now guess what? The flea is born with a 36-inch vertical, but because he see his mommy, daddy, and all his cousins and friends jumping just barely to the roof, you know what he do? He duplicates that behavior. The flea never reaches his potential until you take the top off of your mayonnaise jar. You gonna duplicate your surroundings. If you take an oak tree seed and you put it in a 2-foot pot, that seed will never become the oak tree that oak trees are capable of becoming, because it's gonna get stifled by the 2-foot pot now. Check this out, ain't nothing wrong with the seed. Just fell prey to the environment. You are a seed from God. God made you in his likeness. He big, he vast. Don't you allow your environment to dictate the oak tree that you become, because ain't nothing wrong with your seed. All of y'all got this wonderful gift that he gave you at birth. All y'all got one, you better believe that now. Don't die with this gift and don't never use it. All of y'all got this wonderful gift, but you gotta use it. Take your seat. Take your gift. Get away from these people that's in your life that ain't doing nothing. Get away from people in your life that's hate. Get away from your family members that ain't never opened the businesses. Daddy, get away from your family members. They ever followed their dream. Get away from your family members. Ain't never been nowhere but to the family reunion. Ain't never been to a beach. Get away from them. Get away from him. I had to do it. When I told everybody I was getting into comedy, man, O.H. Lord have mercy. You can't get into comedy. You ain't even funny. How you gonna make money telling jokes? Now in the beginning, they look like they was right. But I never gave up. All I did was identify this gift. I wrote all of my visions down. I read them every morning and every night. And I instilled them in my head. And every time I met somebody, they say, "Hey man, what you trying to do?" I would tell them one of my visions. Somebody would always say to me, "You know I know a guy. They're selling them things right there. You ought to talk to him." I start scratching stuff off my vision board. My vision board's so fast now. If I showed you what was on it, you wouldn't even believe. 'Cause I dream so big. I want so big because the God I serve is big. He is not a small God. He's a really, really big guy. He does really, really big stuff. And I expect him to do really big stuff for me if he done it for Oprah. He done it for the Obamas. Whoever got why I can't have this here? I'm gonna do better with it than all of them to me. But why you can't have it? That's how you get what you want in life. Now you don't have to believe me. But here's the deal. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're gonna keep getting what you've been getting. If I just told you a different way to go about it, you don't need no money. I just gave you some scriptures you could try and some principles. If somebody who had come from the bottom and got to this position I'm in told me that this is the way I would try, if I was you, I would try it. I bet you it'll work. There's a difference between your passion and your gift. Your passion is something that you enjoy doing. Like I'm passionate about golf. It ain't what I do is I suck. It's just not what I do. I'm gifted at words. I'm gifted at that. So before you strike off in the script writing, determine your gift. Whatever it is you're trying to do, you must first determine if it is your gift. And don't pursue things that you're passionate about. Pursue the thing that you are gifted at. All of you are gifted. Every last one of you, God gave you a gift at birth. All God never created a soul without giving him a gift. All of you have a gift. Your job is to discover the gift is very simple. It's the thing that you do the absolute with the least amount of effort. That's your God-given gift. Anything else you're doing, you wasting your time. Listen, you ain't no singer to you singing for now. I don't care how good you sound at the church. Church let everybody sing. They let anybody go up there and say, "Oh, man, why is your singing?" But they're not gifted to discover the gift. So you should ask yourself first, is writing the gift? Is writing the gift now? The writing may not lead you to screenwriting. Or movies, it may lead you to books. But the first thing you need to do is writing your gift. If it's your passion, you're wasting your time. You gonna write a book that don't nobody like, but you. I was watching Joel Osteen on TV one day, and he said, "People's opinion of you is none of your business. Nor should you make it yours." You get in a lot of trouble worrying about what somebody think about you, when really what difference do it make? Whether they wrong or right. And what difference do it make? The majority of people who have a negative viewpoint of you really don't even know you. What I found about being successful is, it wasn't me who changed. It was people's opinion of me that changed. You know I got more, and I'm saying do. But your opinion of me has changed. Now you think I think I'm all that. When in actuality, I really am humbled by all this. I really can't believe God let me have it. I really do understand that I am here. But by the grace of God, I'm clear about that. I think I am so clear about that. It ain't me. It's not me. See, I know the decisions I made. And I know how I got me where I got to. I know how my life turned out. When I gave it over to Him, I gave my life to God. Now I may not be the Christian you think I ought to be. But once again, your opinion on me, it doesn't matter. I've just learned it not to allow people opinion of me to bother me or stop me publicly, man. I've been ridiculed and ate alive on the internet. You this he think, he this I can't stand him. He this. You know I've been everything on in here. I don't care. When you get through reading that stuff, cut your TV on. Turn it to almost any challenge you want to. 7 days a week. The little dude that you keep hating on. That God I serve, he ain't hated me yet. He ain't hated me not now time. And I discovered something. Look, man, what God got for you. Nobody. No hater, no employer. No co-worker can stop nothing God has for you. God is in the blessing business, but better than that, He's in the forgiving business. See, if God wasn't forgiving God, I'm not here today. But God had to forgive me over and over and over. And over and over and over and over. I can't count the times you forgave me. See, I just never let my failures define me. See, when you make a mistake, just get them go again. What you tripping for? I made public mistakes. Let me tell you something, man. When I owe Miss Universe, I have to apologize. I took that myself. You know how many people wrote me off. You know how many letters I got from TV Exact. We're proud of you for doing the right thing. My God, oh my God. A horrible mistake. I hope you're gonna be okay. You hope I'm gonna be my career over cause of that. People want me off, you know. I just got out. I got up, I kept coming to work. I just kept coming. I kept showing up cause eventually, what you gonna do? The time has come. You know my father used to always tell me something. You gonna either get over it or die mad. You got two choices. You can get past it or you can die mad. If you wanna die mad, carry your ass off, then just die mad for God forgave me. So I got up and I kept going. Your mistakes don't define you. Life is 10%. What happened to you is 90% what you do about it. I just stood up like I had some dignity. And I just kept performing, kept telling jokes, kept entertaining people to the part. Now, well, it don't even matter. That pageant is the biggest pageant they've ever had. Everybody tune in and see who come and say this year. Just keep living. Y'all keep waking up in the morning. I'm Ephesians 3:20 all day long. I expect God to do exceedingly and abundantly over all. I think I ask because I honor Him. His blessings would chase me down and overtake me. I will be in the right place at the right time. People would go out of their way to be good to me, because that is my declaration as a servant of the Lord. I'm His child. I am an imperfect soldier for Christ. That's what I am. I'm an imperfect soldier for Christ. I'm in the army of the Lord. But I have a role to play. Success is not a comfortable procedure. It is a very uncomfortable thing to attempt. So you gotta get comfortable being uncomfortable. If you ever want to be successful, start putting some pressure on. Put some pressure on yourself. Get out here and get a bottle. Look, I love to sugarcoat this thing for you. I love to tell you, look, you can go out here and get rich. Do a couple of things damn. You gotta get real doggish. You gotta get downright funky if you wanna make it. Now, like I was telling you, if you wanna be ordinary, you ain't even gotta listen to me. Just go on about your business. If you think ordinary is cool, ain't no problem. It's some really wonderful ordinary people. But if you are sitting in this room and you have extraordinary aspirations, then you will have to do extra. You put extra on top of extraordinary, and you come up with extraordinary. There's no other way. I'm sorry, but here's the fact. All of you have extraordinary capabilities, all of you. You have to decide if you are willing to do the things to put you in that category. Rich people don't sleep 8 hours a day. That's a third of your life. It ain't even 24 hours in a day. You cannot be asleep 8 hours a day. You can't live in LA and wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 11 o'clock on the East Coast. The stock market been open 2 hours. They already making decisions about your life, and your ass was asleep. The Bible says, "He who loves to sleep and the folding of hands, poverty will set upon you like a thief in the night." If you are not happy with your life, it's because you're not living in your gift, and you are decided to pursue a passion. But I can't win no money. I can't make the cut. I'm a 16 handicap that's on a good day. People, I wanted to play in the NBA when I was grown up. I wanted to play in the league. That was my goal, to play in the NBA. I wasn't gifted at it though. I mean, it's a couple of problems. If I ran it full speed, I didn't have a ball. And when I shot it, it ain't going a lot of times. Now you put that together, you can quit talking about the NBA. My gift was I had the ability, and I didn't know it at a young age, but I had the ability to take information instantly and transform it into comic. I didn't know that was a gift. I just thought it was something I did. It got me in more trouble than I've ever in. It has been the biggest curse. Cause when you young, you don't know what's a gift. You're just doing it now. As I got older, this gift has transformed a little bit. I can take information and turn it into inspiration. I can take information and turn it into motivation. And the reason I'm here today is because my life has been jacked up. And I have learned it and mastered something. I've mastered the principles of success. You can't tell me I can't. That's what I've done. I've mastered the principles of success. I know them by his heart inside out. You can't tell me nothing about it. About success. I cannot help but intertwine faith in there. So if you don't really care for the faith piece, you ain't gonna really care for me, 'cause I cannot tell you how I made it. without telling you about God or the principles, every principle of success. It comes from God Almighty. It's in whatever religious reading you read. I know that's not my business. What you believe in, you just got to believe in some. I told the group earlier, I don't care what you call God. You can call God Allah Jehovah, Yahweh, you can call him whatever you want to call it. Just call me though. It is none of my business what you call him. I don't care, but I cannot stand here and talk to you about my road to success. I cannot inspire these young people that I tried to get to early today and not intertwine faith. So I'm sorry if that ain't your thing. But y'all didn't pay me now, so here I am, I got the money. Lied to my account, so here it is. Take a deep breath, I tell people all the time, and I was talking to young people. What I try to get people understand is, I don't care who you are. If you got to a place in your life where you felt like, life should have been more for you, or you trying to figure your life out, there's one simple way to get it done. God, when he created all of us, he never created an individual without the stolen, a gift in them. And God put that gift in all of us. Some of you are gifted in teaching, networking, counseling, sharing, life-saving. Some of your caretakers, but you gifted. If you work in your gift, you now find your purpose in life, a real meaning for waking up in the morning. You're a lot of people. People that get up, go to work in the morning. They just miserable. They hate driving to work. They hate their job. They hate their co-workers. Cause they ain't doing what they want to do with their life. Now that's not your fault. That's their fault. But God, when he created all of us, he gave all of us a gift. We were born with the gift at birth. God ain't made nobody and gave him a gift. Now the thing of it is, if you stop looking at your gift as running, jumping, singing, dancing, then you can get on with your life. But so many people are pursuing their passion instead of pursuing their gift. Most of you have mastered the principles of success. But when you talking to young people, you talking to some people that ain't mastered that aspect yet. It's our job to teach young people the principles of success. They got to learn from your mistakes. See, I messed my life up, so I can turn around and talk about it one day. I've been divorced twice. I lost everything I own in my life twice. I lost it all again in 2005. At the end of 2005, I had $17 in 2005. I had made millions of dollars. I had $17 at the end of 2005. I've been homeless. I lived in a car for 3 years. I learned some principles, and I started applying. So I'm a little bit different Christian than most people right here. I just happen to be a little bit more real about it. I don't really know where a lot of scriptures are in the Bible. I just happen to know what's in there and what ain't in there. And I had a lady the other day on my show. I had slipped up and cussed on one of the commercial breaks, cause I've been working on my cussing, but that's not really working for me. I have just come to the conclusion that I'm just gonna be a cursing Christian. I've been trying to get it and shake it, but it ain't working for me, man. And I accidentally cussed on a commercial break. And the lady, I could tell she was a little put off by it. I didn't mean to. You don't want to be offensive to people, but I was just talking naturally. And she just stood up and said, I have a question for you, Mr. Hart. She said, so how's your walk going with Christ? I thought about it. I said, well, I walk tall. I walk strong with long stripes and a slight nip. And that's how I walk now. If you ain't got no limp to your walk, congratulations. Mine has a slight lift to it. And every now and then the flaws that I have come on. See difference between me and a lot of people to be famous. So my flaws have a microphone and a spotlight, and internet connected to it. You might commit your mistake at the house and don't. Nobody know nothing about it. But I got people watching me all day long. So what I've learned in this journey, along the way of having my life as twisted as it was, I've learned the principles of success. I've learned how to get back up, how to fall and fail get written off. Say you ain't gonna ever be nothing. I've learned how to start over. I've learned how to take one heap of all my winnings and risk it on one turn or pitching toss, lose and start again in my beginnings, and never once breathe worried about my loss yet. I've learned stuff like that. That's right, Yard Kipling. In case you didn't recognize that little poem, I stole that. That's when I was paying a little bit attention. In college, I didn't get the degree, but I was listening just a little bit. And when I talk to you, I try to like to get people to identify with these principles. The greatest thing that you could do in your life. I told the kids early, we had a college institute, so it's kind of trips people out a little bit when I say this and I tell them how important it is to get your education, yada, yada, yada. Cause we had a college, that's what I gotta say. But then I turn right around. I tell them the truth. The most important thing in your life ain't your education. The most important thing in your life is your dream. See, the scripture says, a man without a dream or vision shall perish. Don't say nothing about education now. You got to have one if you're going to climb to certain jobs. And going on a corporate level, and being banking, and being financing. All this stuff y'all doing. But it's the dream that propels. Look, man, we gotta break this thing down real simple for people. Someday quit acting bullshit. Like you've been rich all your life. That's what kill me, you not come to these functions. Everybody sit up there, lean back in their chair. They speak proper grammar. They get their nose up. You act like you had money all your life. I have money all my life. I come into some money. But I've been scrapping and hustling and grinding. And trying to get over, and so have you. But then you get here, and you don't have no memory of that. Cause now your life is fixed. And so now when you talk to young people you don't talk to from the perspective or you made mistakes too. You don't talk to young people like, hey, done that. I smoked weed in college to man. I know where you at. You don't want to tell him that Clinton smoked weed. He the president, United States. I'm probably see a lot of stuff. I already know that I'm not coming back next year. That's clear. I ain't got no problem, see. That's why I get my money wide to me. Cause I already know I'm a mess around. Say something I don't know. Throw somebody into something. I see a couple of looks on your face right now. But I don't really care. I'm out of here. I'm gonna get on this jet. I'm gonna go down here. My wife died in Miami, man. I'm gonna go sleep with my wife tonight. I don't care what y'all do. I was telling you about to give. This is how you save yourself a lot of trouble. Then this may apply to some adults in this world. Maybe not. Your gift is the thing that you do the absolute best, with the least amount of effort. That's your God-given gift. You ain't got to trip on it. Wonder about it. Is what you do better than anything else? Now, whether you chosen to make that your life's work or not, that's your choice. But I got news for you if you don't ever pursue that. You ain't gonna ever be happy. It's some unhappy people in this room today. Because it's some people in here doing what people expect them to do. And doing what was required of them. And they just got locked into it. Now you got bills in the family. You don't really want to pursue your dream. So now you got the job. You just don't ride it all the way out. It ain't nothing wrong with that. If your job is what you gifted at doing. This man is gonna retire this year. But he's been in the education of young people's minds. He's been shaping young people's minds for 30 years. Like that's what he was gifted to do. If you sitting up in here and you ain't happy, and you in misery, it's cause you ain't pursued your gift. And I'm telling you, young people over there with them blue shirts on and them striped ties, find out what your gift is and pursue it with everything in you. Cause ain't nothing worse than getting a degree. And you don't even want it after you get it. Cause a degree ain't nothing but a piece of paper hanging on a wall. That signifies that you have the ability to complete a task, but your life is made up of what you do with it. Life is 10%. What happens is 90% of what you do about it. You've got to do something with your life, man. That makes your heart beat in the morning. When you wake up, chick. People ask me all the time how you do all these jobs. See, 'cause I like all my job. You put your radio on 240 times a year. I do it for our live radio show. How you do that every morning? Well, the main reason they got a nice check. But other than that, I wake up in the morning, I give people some inspiration. I play music and I tell Joe, okay, boom. I like doing that. Then I go to a talk show. I live in Chicago 8 months after a year. 34 weeks, I take 180 talk shows in Chicago. How you do that every day? 'Cause I love doing it. Then I go to Atlanta. I live in Atlanta, and in 9 weeks, I take 200 episodes of Family Feud. Man, how you take all the show. Once again, they have a check attached to this. But I love what I do. If you cut your TV on this, obvious that I love what I do. I'm always smiling because God has given me the life of my dream. Because I'm living in the gift He gave me. If you live in your gift, man, it changes your life. Do something about your gift. Listen to me, I don't care what job you got now. If it's something that really burns on the inside of you, you ought to go do that. I don't care how old you are. How come you think Kentucky Fried Chicken? How come you think that man on the side? Why you think he old? 'Cause his recipe got discovered when he was 68. That ain't the picture of the Colonel when he was 35. But he been fried chicken. Didn't you just wake him start fried chicken? He been fried chicken with this secret recipe for years. It took him a long time for it click. But he kept fried chicken, man. He became the biggest chicken joint in the world. You can't go nowhere and go see Kentucky Fried Chicken. That ain't real chicken. But when he was living, it was real chicken though. It really was chicken. It was the actual parts. If you peel that skin off that Kentucky Fried Chicken, even for a surprise, it don't look nothing like. But he hit it. When is it too late to hit it? When is it really too late to hit the jackpot? When is it when you 60? That's too late, you won't be rich. Then what just 65? Too late for you to be rich. When is it too late to hit? Man, put some spark in your life. Have something to wake up about. Can make your heart beat in the morning. Have a joyous spirit when you wake up in the morning. Here's another principle. Tell you what rich people talk about all the time. You know rich people come all the time. They talk about money all the time. All the principles of success is in the Bible. See, a man is as he think. So what you think? Excuse you grammar, but that's what you. Don't you make better sense? Bad grammar makes better sense sometimes. If a man is as he thinking, then what you think is what you. Does that make real good sense to me? See, yeah, I like to keep it where people remember stuff I say. So rich people, you know what they do. Talk about money. That when you talk about money around people, they get tight because they don't want to hear the money. Or money is not everything. And money can't buy you happy. They ain't got no money. Money might not buy you happy, but it park you right in front of happy house. You get out, ring the doorbell. See you happy home, there's nothing wrong with money. So many things have been said over the years, but rich people get together. They talk about money, they talk about business all day. There's nothing wrong with that. See, we go to church and we learn the wrong thing. You know what messed me up, man? When I was little, I went to church in Cleveland. You know, and all preacher would always say, this is hard for a rich man to get into the kingdom of heaven, as it is for a camel to get through the eye of a needle. Me and the rest of the ignorant members, we thought that you were trying to take a needle with sewing thread and push your camel through it. All the people in my church collectively decided they didn't want to be rich, cause they wanted to go to heaven. I was sitting at 10-year-old. I wouldn't really buy into this, cause I was trying to figure out how I'm going to camel into this hole. Cause I didn't know what they was talking about. Cause I wanted to be rich. Cause this poverty I was allergic to it. It's all the time. I just came from being poor, you know. It just fine. Just be digging in yourself sometime, cause you're po-po. Poverty is uncomfortable. First of the month come your hole, but tighten up. Just like somebody squeezing lemon juice down the cracker. You're behind cause it's the first of the month. All this stuff is due shot. That's your butt shot. Just tighten it up cause you ain't got the money. Why would I not want no money? I live in the hood, I want out. I need money to get out. But at my church they say is this harmful. Rich man getting to the king. Remember as he is for camera. Get through the avenue, so I bought into that. I was about 30. Almost 38. I was in Hollywood. I was driving down the street. Around up in the dining room. Coming out of the studio. I was in the truck smoking a cigar. I saw Donnie. I say, man, what's happening? You say, Steve, man, who's one of the first years I had hosted Celebration of God. And I was gonna quit hosting Celebration of Gospel. Cause I didn't like the gospel community. Cause they didn't like me. You know, backstage, they be saying stuff like, I don't know why he is hosting our gospel show. He ain't saved. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm here for the check. I must be clear about this. I've been in church my whole life, but you know I got a living. No perfect life, and I wouldn't. But you know, I was my life at the time, and I was gone, and I was telling Danny I was thinking about quitting. He said, man, why you gonna quit? I was telling you, man. I said, man, I'm just confused right now, man. So I don't get it. I said, man, think about going back to church, man, but you know you might want to go to heaven. But man, finished off making this money down in. And it just don't dry with Christianity. He said, what you mean? And I told him, what the preacher. That is hard for a man to get through King Mountain, as he or camel through the eye of a needle. So don't look at me a little confused, because you know he a pastor. And I was just telling you no. But I'm trying to find a way to get the camel and needle. He says, Steve, that's not what it means. I said, what does it mean? He says, in the Middle East, a needle is an arc that is stuck in the sand. and looks like a wishbone on the chicken. And they have them to entryways sometime. And when a camel approaches the needle, in order for the camel to get through the needle, he has to kneel and crawl through the needle. And then the camel gets back up. He said that's what God meant. I said, Donnie, you mean they ain't talking about a sewing needle? You said, fool, you can't put a camel through a sewing needle. After that, I said I gotta go make me some money. I just humble myself before God, like I'm going through the needle, and he ought to let me in. But I'm going in with some money, though. I became friends with Oprah Winfrey because of obvious reasons. We gonna keep saying that. But she's very successful. She's very kind person, and everybody get a bad rap on the internet. She thinks she did too well. You know, a lot of people. The thing about haters, man. Haters kick you when they down, and they throw at you when you are. They just do it all damn day. They're just haters. You got them on your job. You got them at your church. You got them, you got it. They just hate these haters. 'Cause they ain't got nothing else to do. They wanna be you, they can't. So here come the hate. And I don't mind hating as long as they thought. 'Cause I'm usually up by you can throw up at me. I don't address you. And I was talking to Over one time, and she said, I did a life class within this past year, and she says, Steve, I never knew you had a vision. She said you believe in that. It was the first time we had a serious conversation. I said, oh, well, I'm not going to believe that. Every successful person I know has a vision board. Or they have their goals written down. You can't do it without writing it down. When you write it down, it's a symbol of faith. See, I was telling the story earlier about writing it down. You know, teacher, we were in 6th grade and asked us to write on a piece of paper. We came in from summer, what you want to be when you grow up. So everybody feel about the paper. Put your name on. Had to write this one thing in 1968. So I wrote, I want to be on TV. Because nobody had told me I couldn't. I was 10. A vision was wide open, so I wrote I want to be on TV. She collected all the papers. She started going around the room naming everybody's name. Had everybody stand up. And she read what they wanted to be. Bob wanted to be a nurse. Johnny wanted to be a basketball player. Robin wanted to own a gas station. Cindy wanted to be a doctor. She got to me, she waited last. Now I've never gotten the goals. All of my years of school. And she asked me to stay. And when I stood, she said, little Stevia, come to the front of the class. And I'm thinking to myself, this is it. This is the gold star moment. I've been waiting 10 years for this. I never got a star before. This is the day. So I start walking to the floor. I'm skinny. I got my brother's clothes on 'cause we were poor. I get up there and she said, Steve Lima, what did you write on your paper? I said I want to be on TV. She said, and why did you write that on your paper? I said, because that was our assignment for today. And then she said, what you write that on the paper for? I'm thinking to myself, judging by the tone of this conversation, this might not be the gold star moment I thought it was gonna be. So I started counting down. And she said, so why did you write it on the paper? And I said, because you asked us to. Voice is really soft, she said. Do you know anybody on TV? Anybody in this school ever been on TV? Any of your relatives been on TV? I said, no, man. She said, take this paper. I am M.A. Call your mama. When you go home, I'ma tell you being a smart aleck in this class that you take this paper and you come back with something more believable on it. So she pinned a note on me and I had to go home. My mama was waiting on me cause she called the house. So my mother said, what you doing up at that school being a smart aleck? I said, Mom, I just did what the teacher told me. She read enough, she said. What you write this on your paper? I said, because the lady asked me what I wanted to be. I won't be on TV. She said, I'm telling your daddy when you get home, or my father was the executioner. My mother was the ward, and he was the executioner. And I knew when he got home I was going to get my ass. So excuse me, I'm sorry I slipped out. I was going to get my butt whipped. And so when father came home, she told my father, look, what Steve wrote on this paper. So he read the paper. He said, oh, what's going on here, says Steve up at that school. Act like a smart ass, that teacher. They asked me what he wanted to be and I wanted to be on TV. My father read the paper. He said, what's wrong with that? I started thinking of old Reprise. So he said, boy, go in your room, I'll be in there in a minute. And now I got my spankings in the room. So I went on in there getting ready. Him and my mother had an argument. My father came in room, he said, boy, what? You write this on your paper. I said, cause I want to be on TV. He said, what she wants you to write on the paper? I said, like a basketball playoff policeman. He said, put that on paper. Take it up to the school and give it to their dream-killing hell. So I write it, he said. Now take your paper. He said, before you go to bed tonight. Now this my father now with a 3rd grade education. My father was a sharecropper in Alabama. He said, read your paper every night before you go to bed. And when you wake up in the morning, read your paper before you go to school. Read your paper every day. And read your paper every night. Took my paper to the school. It took me till I was 38 years old. Fine. I got on TV. The devil don't care about you. The devil wants to keep you from your destiny. That's his one job. Satan got one job. To keep you from your destiny. The devil don't ever want you to be what God created you to be. So guess what? When you discover your gift and you think, I'm about to make a move and be what God created me to be, then here go the devil, you got this. Job over here, you gonna lose your 4 o'clock 1K. Once you get your paper straight, you can skip all of this. You can get yourself started in the process, man. But you gotta quit letting the devil keep you from your destiny by tying it to this little job you got. Cause he tricky with it now. He got you thinking, you gonna mess your credit up if you quit your job. What you mean mess your credit up? You overextended, now you got good credit. But you can't buy nothing else with it. If your card max out at $5,000 and you got $4,090 on it, where we at? Come on, y'all. You gonna have to make a choice. But you can't let the devil fool you. He tried to keep you from being who God made you to be. Yeah, look, man, I don't know if I'm getting through to you, but I want you to hear me. How you man look. One wish everybody before they die could experience what it feel like to wake up and do what you was born. This so cool, man, it's so cool. If you've been dreaming opening that business, you should start the process. Don't try to figure out how to make the business. Make $1 million, just start the process. See if you make one step, he'll make two. But he can't make his two unless you make your one. So you got to start, fill out the application. Go get the pack, send in the paperwork. Get your federal ID number. Do something, man, who start creating the website. Let your job sponsor your dreams. Take some of your check money. Quit playing one of them pork bills. Take that money and start your website. What is you talking about now? If you okay, march some money and see is what is you paying them for. They finna be out of business. Take whatever money you okay, Mart, and see us. Take that money by your business card. Take one of your bills one time instead of panic. Start your website, but start. If you make one step, he'll make two. And don't worry about where you're going with it. Just get started, he'll show you the way to go, cause he wants you to get to your destiny. But he gotta make sure that you wanna get to your destiny first. If you tell him you wanna get to your destiny, that God you serve, he gonna show you how to do it. You can believe that. Don't forget to pray. Don't be ashamed to pray. And don't ever be too proud to pray, cause prayer changes things. Stay right here on Faith Street, y'all. The box you asked for is coming. Everything on my vision board I get. I built on my house one time. My wife wanted a special kind of car. And I built the garage, the extra garage on the house. She came out there and she said, "Steve, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm building the extra garage." She said, "Steve, we got enough cars. What do you need with another garage?" Cause don't worry about it. 2 years went by, I have been looking for this car. I went to dealerships, they said, "Sir, there are none in that color." I see she wanted white. I said, so I went to the dealership. I said, "I want you to get this kind from a wife." Says, "Sir, there are none in the country and none being made." I said, "Okay, when the car come in, could you accept it into your dealership and call me when you get here?" He says, "Sir, I didn't told you I can pull it up on the computer. There are no cars in that color that make a model. Do you want another color?" I said, "No, my wife or white." She said, "Sir, we don't have that." I say, "I've already built the garage. I've already built the garage. All my garages have chandeliers, and I don't have doors that go over. All my cars have chandeliers hanging over. And I have marble floors in my garage because I like stuff like that because I saw it one time." So I said, I've already built the garage." He said, "Sir, there are no cars like that anywhere in a computer base." I said, "I just need for you when the car come in." So a year went by, I said, "Any word on the car?" He said, "No, I've called the factory. They're not even making any more in that color." I said, "Okay, I'm looking for this color right here." He said, "Sir, we don't have it." I said, "I'ma give it to her for her birthday, October 10th, 2016. He said, "Sir, that's impossible." I said, "No, it's not. No, it's not. It's just a car that I'm asking for in a particular color. How that's impossible?" He said, "Sir, I can't find a car. I asked you when it come through. Would you accept it into your dealership and call me? That's all I asked you for." 2 weeks before my wife's birthday, I got a phone call. It was Perillo from Gold Coast in Chicago. He said, "Steve Harvey." He said, "Are you sitting down?" I said, "No." "Stand up, what's that?" He said, "You're not gonna believe this. A guy bought a car a year ago. It's been sitting in his garage. It has 8 miles on it. He bought it to me to turn into me and ask him, how much would I give him for?" I said, "What is it?" He says, "The white car you've been looking for." I said, "I'll be up there to get it." He said, "This is unbelievable." I said, "That God I serve, He's an unbelievable God. I don't listen to what nobody tell me. Once I write it down, I write the vision and make it plain. It will come surely. It will come at an appointed time. It doesn't matter that nobody sees it. Doesn't matter that it's visible to other people. All you got to do is write it down and believe it. God is greatness, man. All day long, what He's done for me, He'll do the same thing for you. But you got to write the vision. Go home and read Rebecca 2:2. Go home and read Bible verse Rebecca 2:2. Read what it say. If you do that, you change your life. Appreciate. Apples are 26 years old man struggling. I didn't have enough. And these people on the furniture store, it clean at all. They took me in and gave me my first contract with my little carpet cleaning company. When I became a comedian at 27, I didn't have money to travel. They gave me an account at their travel agency. And man, I ran up a bill like $11,000 just trying to travel and make it. And people right there, you know. And they helped me out. Used to spend the night in hotel parking lots. What was I gonna do? I had nowhere to stay, so I lived in the car. I had $35. And I said, "Come on, God, man. I've been trying to make this dream come true. You left me out here like this." And I was crying so hard that he just said, I didn't like hear a voice at nothing. But he spoke to me and how he said, "If you get up, I'ma take you places you ain't never been." Now I was finna quit. So I said, "Skip it. I'ma quit anyway." So I got my car. I went to a payphone and I was gonna call my dad. You know, back in the day where you could punch in a code and call your answering machine and get your messages. So I called. And I punched in the code and they said, he said, "Hey Steve, this is Chuck Sutton with Showtime at the Pablo. We saw a tape of you. You're very funny. If you could get here Sunday night, we love to put you on television. Call me back, let me know if you can make it." So I hung the phone up on crushed. 'Cause my whole dream of being on TV. And I couldn't get to New York. I got 35 hours. How I'ma get to New York? I can't make it. So I'm standing there at the phone booth. And tears just coming down my face. I said, "God, so that must be a sign for me to go home. 'Cause I ain't got the money to go to the power. My whole thing, that want to be on TV. I couldn't make a dream come true. I'm. This is the most messed up moment." And so I said, "Man, let me call this dude back and see if he said this Sunday. 'Cause maybe he said next Sunday that I can hustle up a little bit of money or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but let me just call him back." So I call him back. "Steven's truck sending Showtime to Parliament. Saw a tape of yours. You're very, very funny. Look, we have an opening Sunday night at Showtime Depot. If you can make it, you love to put you up to." I said this son before I hit the button. I heard, "You have another message that wasn't there before." So I punched my code and I listened to the second message. Says Steve Harvey, "This is Tom Sober from Comedy Caribbean. I had this as a Thursday." He said, "I have a gig in Jacksonville Florida on Friday night that pays $150. If you can get there Friday night, you make $150. So I called him back and I said, "Hey Tom, did you get a gig away?" He said, "No, I'm still available," he said. "Can you get that? I saw him at Coca-Cola, Florida. I'm 2 hours away." So I drive to Jacksonville, Florida, and that night I kill. I made the 150 club on the said man. "You farted in the guy we hire. If you stay tomorrow night, I'm gonna give you another $150. So now I got $300 yet. So I get on the phone. I called Chuck Sutton. I say, "Hey man, it's the gig still available and show time to get Paulo." He said, "Well, we got one open and left." I said, "I'll be there." So I call Eastern Airlines, who used to be open back then. They had a special for $99 on Jacksonville, Florida, New York round trip. So I parked my car at the airport. I got it. Got on plane, flew. Everything I had was in 2 bags. Got to the Apollo. Say, "Hey man, I'm here." I got that at 11 o'clock in the morning. He said, "You can't stay here, 'cause you don't come on to the late show tonight." That's right, got nowhere to go. I say, "If you just let me stay in this building, man, I ain't gonna move around nothing. I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm in Harlem, I can't go back out here. I got these 2 bags. I got victim load all over me, man, so." He said, "If you go upstairs, don't come down." So put me in the dressing room on the 6th floor. So that's what all the comedians was. So I stayed up there. I got hungry around 3 o'clock. But I couldn't take it no more. So I went back downstairs. "Do name out and listed," I said. "Hey man," he said, "Man, I thought I told you don't come down them down steps." I say, "Man, I'm just home." And I said, "Let me go to that KFC I saw on the corner. Just let me get some chicken. I'll come right back." He said, "Man, if you ain't back in 20 minutes, you ain't getting in this bill." So I went bought me some chicken. Came back. So the comedians started coming in the bill. They start coming up on the 6th floor. So I meet this guy. Name DLU. I introduce myself. You introduce yourself. I'm sitting there. Another guy come in named Dwayne Johnson. Then this other dude walked in named Jamie Foxx. And I introduced myself. We don't know each other. They know us famous. It's 1991, man. They gave everybody that line. I was on the last show tonight. I don't go on to 11 at night. I don't have this. There's for pieces of chicken. I'm starving, man. That chicken didn't roll off. I'm nervous, man. I'm about to throw up. Joe Hubery went downstairs. Joe Hubery got pulled off. Wayne Johnson got pulled off. Jamie Foxx went down there and got booed. They booed Jamie, and Jamie started singing. And then they start clapping. And Jamie had their ass. Then he went back to them jokes, and they got his ass. So I'm walking down the steps, and I see Jamie sitting on the steps. I say, "Hey man, hang in there." He said, "Man, ain't never happened to me before, man. This crazy, this Jamie Foxx, man. One of the most talented people in all of comedy. Now you don't even know how nervous I am. I can't even. My breathing is shot cause these dudes been boomed." So I walk out. I wrote this joke. how Mike Tyson had got in a fight in Harlem, which his heavyweight named Mitch Green. Mike Tyson had hit the dude in the eye in the store. Now he was on the news as I was smoked. So the joke I wrote was, they was interviewing Mitch Green, and he was telling everybody what happened, but his eye took over the interview. And I wrote this joke that his eyes start talking, and was just I tell you what happened. The heavyweight champ's fist is coming towards my face. I just say, Lord, 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 and I wrote this whole joke about this dude's eyeball talking. And when the punch came, long as hell, I walked off stage, man. Just start crying, I couldn't believe it. They paid me $750 for being on TV for one night. I'd never made $750 telling jokes one night. And so that was my first television appearance. Couple weeks later, Sinbad was the host of the show. He got this job at On a Different World. And so he quit. And so Mark Curry became the host. And then Mark Curry got hanging with Mr. Cooper. And he quit. And they came to me and said, would you come back to New York and host Amateur Night for us? To just try you out, I ain't no problem. So I went to New York. I hosted Amateur Night, and I was chilling. But every time I went to commercial break, I was supposed to let the war act take over, like Ruben does. But I knew not to let the warmer back do that, cause he would change the attitude of the crowd, cause it powers and wild play. So I stayed out there, I did warm up. And the host and I created a bond with that audience. And that's how I got on TV with my very first TV show. I host the Showtime to Paula, end up being the longest running host in the history of Showtime. I did that show for 8 years. Nobody ever did it for 8 years. And that was my turn back moment. See, in your life, everybody has a turn back moment. You have a moment where you can go forward, or you can give up. The thing you have to keep in mind before you give up is that if you give up, the guarantee is it will never happen. That's the guarantee of quitting, that it will never happen. No way under the sun. The only way the possibility remains that it can happen is if you never give up no matter what. Because God is always coming. He's never delayed at you. At your worst, look, man, when they told me I had to be in New York, I saw no way I could get there. But that God don't. He make the phone ring, I end up in Florida. I make $300. Then I go to New York, I make $750, almost got $1,000. Out of nowhere, that's what happened to me. That was my moment of never giving up. That's when I first learned it, that faith was everything. That you have to remain faith. When I was homeless, I had a lot of time myself. Actually, becoming homeless was exactly what I needed. Cause God needed my undivided attention. And He had it for 3 straight years. Cause I had nothing. And you know, I'm just one of them people way. Sometimes you just gotta get my attention. You know me, so I can't tell you about no education. Cause I ain't got one, I ain't got no degree in nothing. I've been told my whole life, you'll never be nothing, simply because of the way you talk. You know how many times the way I talk, man, cause you know, kind of country I don't really I don't really speak that good. You know my English is not eloquent, I know that. But I never let that stop me. When I first got on TV at NBC 7 years ago, they said, oh, then a linguist to see me. I didn't even know what that was. I thought, this lady's gonna show me how to make spaghetti, and so. I didn't know, I've never heard this. What is the linguist? So the woman comes in my office and she says, are you ready to begin? And I say, excuse me, ma'am. Who are you? She says, I'm your grammar coach. I said, for what? She said, NBC is of the understanding. In order for you to be successful in daytime team, you're gonna have to learn how to speak more eligible. I said, I've been through all that, damn. She said, excuse me. What did you just say? I said, I ain't gonna do all that day. She said, say what you just said to me again slow. I said, I ain't do all that day. She said, that's exactly why I'm here. Because that is improper grammar on every level. I said, yeah, yes. I talk just like this here. She said, say that again. I said, I talk just like this. She said, slow that down. I say, I talk just like this here. What's the problem? She said. If you don't learn how to speak more properly, you'll never be successful. I said, who told you that? You walked into my office, I'm already on TV. You know, what were you trying to go with this? See the reason. I'm not gonna let you change my mind, cause I've never known you up into this point. Not made it to this point without you. I don't know how you feel. I ain't gonna get the rest of the way without you. So I'm just looking at this lady. She says, listen to me. If you don't learn how to speak better, you'll be off TV. I said, okay. Well, let me ask you something. I said, which one of these sound best to you? I am broke. I mean, he's rich. I mean, you don't look man. God gave me a life I've never even really dreamed of. He gave me even beyond what I dreamed of. I mean, think about it. The money they pay me is to wake up. I either play music or I tell jokes. I either play music or I tell jokes. I entertain people for a living. They give me money. That's a blessing, man. See when I wake up. I don't have to go to work. I get to go to. See, that's the difference, man. Some people have to go to work. I get to go to work, I get to. I don't have. You know what I mean? I was doing this for years for no money. But grace and mercy, you know, just kept blessing me. And then you know, I got other things I want to come. You know I'm not through. And I've been at this a long time, like I'm thinking about him. But I want you now to make enough money to change our kid's life. You know my foundation is the most important. This is stuff over here in Alabama. Those are 3 cities I'm targeting for mine. You know, so as you wouldn't live now as motivation. And then you know, I'm a trailblazer, man. I got to show other people how to do it. You know my job. Nice to show y'all how I did it. That's why I talk all the time about motivation. I talk more about motivation now than you come. Cause you know, your career is what you paid for. Your calling is what you made. So I'm in the calling part of my life. You know I have to like when you ask me a question. See, I can't just like if I tell you. You got to write it down. I'm telling you how to make it. You have to do this now. You can try to do it if you could try to not do it. It's gonna be hard. But so I always try to give people little pieces of wisdom. Cause you young, you know, everybody in this room, you want to be happy and you want to be successful. Everybody in here wants to be happy and successful. If you don't want to be happy, success is something wrong with you. Most people want to be happy, successful. You just need the key. The how to, that's my job, to show you how to. Like if I give you one scripture that can change your life, and I tell you, Rebecca, and then. You don't follow that, that's not my fault. So now you know that you have to write down. Like if you look at my iPhone has my vision board on it. I ain't got no picture, no dog, or my wife on my phone. My wife is at my house. My wife she's somewhere. She's in Rwanda right now. Cause I put stuff that I dream about on my iPhone. My vision is also every time my phone rings. I look at it, I think of my visions and dreams. Every time I pick up that phone, I should pick up that phone to make one of them dreams come true. When I open up my laptop, the same thing on the laptop. So every time I'm texting an email, I'm trying to make a dream come true. I don't have time for nonsense. You know what they say about me in the blogs. It don't matter what they say. They don't know me. They don't even know me, they never met me. They say negative stuff about me. Don't mean nothing, look at me. What I care what they say. God keeps blessing me no matter what you say. You got to know who you are and whose you are. That's all you need to know. I know who I am, and I know who I belong to. And that God of mine ain't gonna let nothing happen to me that I can't help.